Welcome to The Crunch with Crib Creative. I'm Jess, and each week we're going to be diving into the stories of some of Perth's best agents and business people, how they got where they are, and what they learned along the way. Today we're welcoming Carmel Gardiner, licensee and owner principal at Abel McGrath. Carmel has been in real estate since 1996 and is now at the helm of one of Perth's most successful boutique agencies. I wanted to chat to Carmel about the Abel McGrath culture and how she nurtures the talent of some of the state's most successful agents. Welcome, Carmel.
Thank you, Jess, for inviting me.
Thank you so much for coming in. So to kick things off, for our listeners who don't know, can you just give us a brief background of your real estate career, how you got to where you are?
Sure. Well, I started, as most people do in real estate, as a sales representative in a northern suburbs agency. And I was there for a few years, and then a colleague and I decided to start our own business. Which went really well, but I felt that I needed to know more about how a business runs and how the legal side of real estate works, and I'm very interested in that. So I went and did my triennial certificate, and then I decided it was time for me to move into that role, and so I left and went as the licensee for an agency.
Okay.
And I was there for, I think, about 18 months. And then I met my colleagues at Abel McGrath, and they were starting a new business up and needed a licensee. So that's how I got involved in the business and also as being a licensee,
wow.
which I take really seriously.
Yeah. And so are you still selling, or did you kind of move into that role?
I like to sell occasionally because I think you need to understand what your sales representatives are going through. Mm-hmm. So I do the odd sale every now and again, and I'm very heavily involved in the property management part of our business as well. So I like to know all parts of the business.
Mm-hmm. And since you started with Abel McGrath, or started in real estate to now, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry and in running a business, I guess, as well?
Okay, I think one of the biggest things is technology. Mm-hmm. Even coming here today, before I got here, I was reading some books and magazines and things like that come through our office. And it can be quite daunting, the number of different ideas that are out there, the innovation, you need this, you need that. And I think if you're running a business, it's really hard to work out what's the right path for you, because they all sound great. Mm-hmm. They all sound fantastic, but it's like everything. You have to do something really well and don't try everything, because you mm-hmm. won't succeed. You have to really put your energies into a focus and make sure that works and get it done properly.
Yeah. And how do you, as a business owner, decide what that focus is going to be?
I consult with the people around me. I think it's important that you surround yourself with good people. Mm-hmm. That creates your culture, that creates the feeling in your business, the confidence and the trust factor. I'm really lucky. I've got some terrific people around me, and I like to take everyone's opinion, and then I will consult, again with my business partner, Simon, and we usually make decisions based on that, because I don't think everyone knows everything. Mm-hmm. And I think, it's definitely a consultative process that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think is going to be the biggest change that you see going forward, I guess, in the next couple of years?
I think the number of changes that are happening in real estate is massive. Mm-hmm. I think the last 12 months in real estate's been particularly difficult. I think the market's probably the toughest it's been for a long time. Mm-hmm. Certainly in the last couple of months, and when I've chatted to other people, not in my business but outside, they've all said the same thing. You can't let that get you down. You have to move ahead, you have to be positive, and you have to look at all the things that are available to you. Mm-hmm. And constantly changing your business the right way is the best way to move forward. So I see technology and the many aspects of that being something that agents are definitely going to have to step up to and change with the times. You know, whereas you could predict what a market was going to be like, you can't do that anymore because the world is a very small place and things can change in an instant.
Yeah. I wanted to quickly touch on, obviously real estate is a fairly male-dominated industry. It has been in the past and it is, I guess, turning around. But what's your experience been like being a female in the industry, and how has that kind of changed in the last few years?
I would have to say in our business, there is definitely not it's not male dominated.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit on the other side.
Yeah.
We've
in
got,
your office?
Yes. Yeah. We've got some really strong women that work for us. You know, one of them is probably one of the most successful agents in WA, Michelle Kerr.
Yeah.
And we've got some other really, you know, young women and other women that are taking roles in the business that are really responsible. So I've never felt that. I've never felt that it's a male-dominated industry. For me, I think everyone is equal, men and women. And, you know, but I do love seeing a lot of the younger women progressing and growing. When they start in your business, they might have been a hairdresser.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, they're running, you know, a team of people or looking after a group of investors or landlords and making sure that we look after their properties really well. So it's definitely, I've never felt that way, and I'm pretty sure most of the people in our office would not feel that way.
No, you definitely have a strong
definitely have
office.
a strong female office.
Yeah, it's good to see. How did you manage the transition from sales to running a business?
I like detail. I like crossing the T's and dotting the I's. I like the way business works, and I probably enjoy that more than anything. I love looking at cash flows and figures, and I don't have a degree in anything like that, but I have a natural enjoyment of it. So I didn't find transitioning from sales to management all that difficult. But I do, as I said, I do like to sell occasionally because I think that keeps me in touch with what sales representatives go through.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, this is a hard industry, and you know, everyone looks at successful sales reps and think it's easy, and they never started like that, and they've often gone through months and months of not earning any dollars, and they're very resilient to an economy. You know, when the economy dives, sales representatives just have to get out there and do what they do, and it makes for a really strong, resilient person.
Yeah. We talked about how the industry has changed in the last few years. How has your business specifically changed?
Being a boutique agency, we have been able to change as things have changed. So we're able to make decisions fairly quickly, as long as, you know, we talk about them and make sure they're the right decision. And sometimes we get it right and sometimes we don't. So we've been able to move with the times very quickly. You know, we have some people who have some fantastic ideas, and so we do make changes quite quickly, especially if we feel the market's changing, and it can change very quickly. The new technology, I think, is something you have to really think about and plan. You can't just jump on every new thing that comes along.
You've been a business who has been quite aware of, I guess, your responsibilities in the technology space, and your reps particularly are very savvy in that area as well. Is that something that I guess you're conscious of, you're very, very conscious of, or has it been as you've, I don't know, moving forward, is that going to be something that you continue to keep an eye on your reps and how they portray themselves?
Look, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because really, you know, sales reps, a lot of them, especially in our business, are creating their own brand within our brand. And that's because people relating to people, you know, the brand is important, but the person that they're dealing with is really, really important. So I just think that anybody that is sort of doing their own thing or doing their own social media, everyone needs to be respectful and mindful of what they're doing, and that people do take attention. They do they do watch what they're doing. So we allow a lot of freedom. And as long as, you know, they don't cross boundaries or make comments that, you know, could cause the whole business a problem, I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
We encourage it.
You can see it in your reps that it is encouraged. They're very strong in that area. So what's your plan as a business for the next few years? Are you looking at growing? Are you happy with one office, with how, you know, your position in the market? Or
Well, good question, because actually at the moment we're making some changes. I've just spoken to a staff member and promoted her in the last couple of hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and breaking news and we are wanting to definitely improve our business in the sales area. So that's an area that we're looking at. We are wanting to have an office of good, dynamic, strong sales representatives that all work together, because it's important that people, when they come into a business, all have the right culture. So we don't take everyone. It's a matter of if they fit what we think is going to work in the business. And in property management, we're looking at ways that we can, present things to our landlords and our tenants in a responsible way, and to keep costs down. I think that's important, because otherwise they can get out of hand.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah. In terms of your culture, how conscious is it the development of your culture in-house? Is that something that you really have a focus on, or has it grown organically?
I think that the culture has developed itself, but it always starts at the top. And I take responsibility if there's a change in the culture. And, we look at ways of making sure that everyone's connecting with each other. We have two strong teams, the sales team and the property management, and we try and get them to connect as much as we can. As I said, the culture is important. And do we get it right all the time? Sometimes we don't. But I would say most of the time, people love working in our office.
Yeah.
And if they do have to leave because their partner's been transferred or whatever, they actually are quite upset when they have to leave, because they enjoy being there so much.
Yeah. How would you describe the Abel McGrath culture?
I think it is one that encourages people to grow. It encourages people to assist each other. I often see an email come out and, from one of the property management girls and say, can someone help me with a large property that I have to inspect? And so many people say, yes, I can come and help. And I think that's a great culture. It's not people being, no, I'm not doing it because it's not my job, or I'm not going to share my new idea with another sales rep. That doesn't happen. We often have a meeting where everyone brings out what they're doing. Like we had a guy, one of our reps, Jay, spoke at our last sales meeting and showed everyone how he presents his appraisals. Everyone loved it. And that's a great sharing, culture to have in your office. So that's important.
Yeah, really important. We mentioned Michelle earlier, who's doing extremely well this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, someone like Simon is a leader in the industry. You've got some really successful reps in there. What would you put that success down to?
Well, I think it's them.
Yeah.
They certainly work very hard to get where they are. And as I said, we encourage them to be the person they are within our brand. So we don't, put too many restrictions on them. You can't do this and you can't do that. And as long as everything is done legally and correctly, that's important. So, and I think that there is a great culture there of encouraging other reps to do well and sharing of ideas. And that's, I think, is the culture that's in our office.
Yeah. In terms of training, do you offer training in-house? Is that something, as a boutique, it's probably a little more difficult?
Yeah, we do. We have like a sales meeting most weeks, but we also encourage the guys to go out and attend other types of training because, they need to see different sides of different types of trainers and what they want them to do. And not everyone will relate to one person. They might like somebody else's way of doing things. So we will often sponsor them to go on a different course and discover new ways of doing things because this industry just changes so quickly and you have to be up with everything. You can't just keep it in-house. You have to explore all the avenues that are out there.
Yeah, definitely. What's your philosophy on managing people? Obviously, it seems like there's a lot of autonomy, and in real estate in general, there's, people are expected to work pretty autonomously. But how do you find is the best way to manage people, especially in an office like yours where there's some big personalities in there?
Everyone, is allowed to have an opinion, and I do have a lot of meetings, not like formal meetings, but people will come in and ask me things, and we sit down, and sometimes I feel like we're a counselling service, which is fine because everyone, this is a hard world that we live in too, and people need to take the time to stop and listen to each other and share. And we do that. I often have people in my office, and sometimes there's a queue outside the door, which is nice. But there's a lot of fun as well that happens. I like to have one-on-one. Like to talk to people, good and bad. Sometimes you have to say, look, things aren't going so well. What can we do to help? And that's how we try and do everything that we do, and also to if they have a problem, they've got someone to talk to. And I find that most of the reps actually help each other. They'll often say, I've had to ring up such and such on the weekend, and that's great. That's a great atmosphere to have.
Definitely. What would you say your biggest challenge is when it comes to managing staff?
The life that we all lead. It is so busy. It is so intense sometimes, and I think that's the biggest challenge. I think for everybody. I also like one of the things that we do encourage is that, especially in our property management section, that they connect with people via a phone call. Rather than this emailing and back and forward, talk to someone, ring someone, see how they're feeling. You will get the message as you're talking to them. And there's a lot of aggression out there in the world today, and I think if you take the time to listen to someone and you're calm and relaxed, people just want someone to talk to. So that's sort of a philosophy that we have developed as well.
Does that come from you as a person? Do you think that philosophy
Look, it probably does. I'm a mother of 3. I've got 5 grandchildren. So Simon, my business partner, does say to me that I am the mother. And that's fine. I'm happy. I'm okay with that one.
Good. What do you look for in an agent when you're recruiting?
We look for energy because, as I said, this is a tough gig. And if you don't have the energy to get through all the rejection, you're not going to last. And also resilience. You have to be a fighter. Not physically, but mentally, you have to be able to get through the obstacles that come up. And you have to, we will sit, and a number of people interview all of our reps that come on board and our other staff. And, it's a collaborative decision that we go, this person would be really good. They fit our culture. They fit the way we feel. And a lot of it's, your feelings about how you feel about someone. So that's how we would recruit. And we don't take everyone. And it's not against them. It's just, do they fit what we do?
Do you tend to recruit experienced I guess in sales more so than property management, or both? Do you tend to recruit experienced people, or
both?
Yeah.
We've had good success in both areas.
Yeah.
Richard Klukas, who's another successful sales representative, was not even in the sphere of sales at all.
Yeah.
He was the opposite end of what he's always done, and he's been a fantastic sales rep. He's very, very good at what he does, and that's someone who's never even known what sales is. And the same in property management, it's their people skills.
Yeah.
It's how they talk and relate to people, and as I said, that energy and that warmth that comes through them.
Yeah. What are some of your biggest challenges in your role specifically? I guess we've talked about the real estate role, but yours...
Mine would be technology because it's not my thing, which is why I have great people around me.
Yeah.
And I just say, look, I don't know how this works. Can you please find out and then come and tell me?
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's a good way to run a business. If you don't know how something works or you need to get other advice, you get it.
Yeah.
You don't just assume you know everything.
Yeah, especially if you've got people around you that you trust. And what are you most proud of at Abel McGrath?
You know, it's funny when you look back after 14 years in this business and to see how it's grown from this tiny little house on Stirling Highway.
Did you start Abel McGrath in Freo Prison? Have I read that?
No, I missed that.
Oh, okay. That was before your time.
And it officially started in a little office in Claremont and Stirling Highway, and there was just the three of us. And to see what it is today, and I wouldn't say there's been any, you know, massive great plan that's where we were going to arrive at, but it has happened, and I'm very proud of the people that we have in our business and the people that aren't in our business, because, you know, people do move on. Very proud of young women that have grown into, I think, superstars, and some of them are out there doing other things in the world. And I think the start that they got at Abel McGrath has certainly helped them, you know, in their lives. So obviously you can tell I'm very in favour of young women succeeding, and I'm not a young woman, so I'm very proud of a lot of those things that we've achieved.
Yeah. And what about personally? Would you roll those into the same category?
Yeah, you know, like it's, you know, it's when it's part of your nature to see people grow. You know, that's probably what I'm like at home with my sons. You know, I have a great relationship with them. You know, I have a great relationship with the people at work, and I think it's just who I am. I get a lot of satisfaction out of watching other people succeed.
Yeah, that's good. It's lovely to hear you talk about the business like that. I think it comes through when you meet your reps, and it really is a culture that shines through.
Oh, so that's lovely.
Yeah. Any parting words of wisdom for the people listening? This is your last chance to
spew forth.
Spew forth, Carmel.
Look, my advice to anybody entering into real estate is that you need to be resilient. Because this business builds your character. You know, you can't just fake it in this business. You might be able to for a little while, but the true you will come out. You need to be real, and this real and genuine are words that are tossed around a bit today, but they actually do mean something. Trust is a massive thing, and I think as time goes on, trust is going to be a huge thing, big thing for me, trusting someone. And I think that something that people need to understand is don't overpromise, but deliver spectacular results, and you will have no problems being a success in this business. And believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like we believe in everyone in our business. So that's what we try and give out to everyone. And that's what I think everyone needs to think about when they enter this business. It is not easy.
Yeah. I think those are great words of wisdom for anyone in any business, small business owners, you know, any industry.
Yeah, in anything. You just have to back yourself.
Yeah.
And be resilient and take everything on the chin and get on with life.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Even when it's tough.
Even when it's tough.
Because it will be sometimes.
And it absolutely will be. It's never going to be fantastic all the time. So that's what you've got to build your strength on.
That's it. Well, that is it from me.
Great.
I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
And well, thank you. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
No, it's painless. It's painless in here.
All right.
And look forward to seeing what's coming up with your growth.
It's going to be very exciting.
Awesome. Thank you, Carmel.
Thank you, Jess.
Thanks for tuning into The Crunch. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show, so if you would like to share them, please email me at jess@cribcreative.com.au. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the show and share it with anyone else you think might like it.